Welcome back to the Sales Pulse podcast, where selling isn't a performance. It's a fluent, insightful, and personalized human conversation. Today, we're going to talk about how urgency has a time and a place in sales, and December is not it. I'm Marla Koupal, your sales conversation architect. Let's talk about social media selling, network marketing selling, direct selling, and those who coach others in sales and services. And let's just talk about selling during the holidays: Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, all that's going on for people. There's something really important to people about closing the year out right. One of the most misunderstood tools in sales is this thing called urgency. When it shows up at the end of the year or at the first of the new year, it can show up as pretty ugly in those personalized conversations. The truth about urgency: it's an old selling strategy. It's been around for a long time. And yes, it works, but only under one condition: when the buyer already has clarity about their choices, about their desires, about their needs. So if you're trying to do urgency first and clarity's missing, then you're in a situation for a loss. Urgency doesn't help people decide. It only helps people act. And people don't act if they don't know what they want. If you're using it to force people into decisions, then you're only becoming an irritant for those buyers that you have. December is when most buyers are not deciding, they're processing a lot. They're being reflective, and urgency can create an irritation. It will kill trust. Let's look at why urgency backfires. In December, buyers are emotionally full, either happy, sad, pending decisions on how they're going to feel. They're emotionally full. They're financially stretched. They're reflective. They're not reactive. So when sellers add urgency, it often is going to land like, I don't have the bandwidth for this. Nobody's thinking, I should jump on this. So urgency in December doesn't feel like sales leadership. It feels like pressure layered onto an already heavy season. And it doesn't move people forward. It does help them quietly step away and not think about you again, other than they don't want to see you again. If you're feeling ghosted as a seller, then review your last 3 conversations and see if you had a pattern of pressure that you were applying. And yep, if you had the pressure on, you blew up the sale yourself. People are ghosting you because they are protecting the energy they have to get through the holidays. So where does urgency belong in a sales conversation? Let's be really clear. It belongs after the buyer has an understanding of their needs and desires, and they trust you. The sellers are tuned into the buyer. It doesn't happen before that. Urgency works when the buyer has, 1, articulated their need, 2, they've connected the dots themselves, and the decision feels inevitable for them. It just might be delayed. These are the situations in which urgency will serve the buyer. So if your December conversations rarely reach these stages, well, take a look at how you're trying to force urgency before the buyer has clarity. Don't ask people to hurry up and choose before they know what they're choosing. Here's how to reframe December sales. December is not about accelerating decisions on the part of the buyer. It's about stabilizing the buyer's trust. People won't remember your countdown timers, but they will remember whether you respected their timing, whether you acknowledged their reality, and whether you made the conversation feel lighter, not heavier. December selling is about leaving a relational bookmark in their memory. They'll say to themselves, when I'm ready, I know exactly who I want to call. You didn't give up or rationalize the loss of a sale. It's a strategic move on your part to have their future commitment. So, what do you say instead of creating urgency? Try language that's supportive of the buyer instead of pushing them. You might start a phrase sentence with, "This may not be a decision season for you." And then you pick up on what they've already offered you and you summarize it and you build a relationship. Or you might say, "Do you want more clarity on this before we revisit this in January? If so, here's how I can help." Or you might try, "Would it be more helpful to explore this lightly now and come back fresh after the holidays?" That kind of language doesn't stall sales, it preserves them. So you do get a January payoff. Here's what most sellers miss. How you sell in December determines whether buyers want to hear from you in January. If you apply pressure now, you're going to get resistance later. When you respect now, then momentum comes later. Urgency works best when you've earned the trust of the buyer. And that's what December is good for in sales. So before your next sales follow-up, ask yourself, am I helping this buyer feel calmer or more rushed? Am I trying to move a decision or honor the buyer's process? Is this urgency serving them or is it serving me? Great selling isn't about speed, it's about timing. Thanks for listening to the Sales Pulse podcast. Subscribe for real skills, not safe scripts, and I'll see you next time.